Capt.Doug Stanford, Texas Fish Tips. This is your weekly fishing report. Come on out here by Klein's Landing. Been catching some nice redfish right here, about 30, 35 foot of water right next to those rocks. Right next to that pier, the Station Street Pier. It's almost getting ready to open. Anyways, come on down anywhere down these piers, Channel View, all this down through has been holding some redfish. There's a few trout mixed in. There is a few flounder mixed in there. Mullet is the way to go. And then get out on into that south jetty. If it's not too rough, get out there. There's schools of reds. When they're there, they're there. When there's schools in, they're not. If you're not in them, you can stay in one spot and they'll probably come around and hit you, but you just don't know when they'll do that. Get on either side of that south jetty. Try not to mess with the people that's fishing on the rocks if you're in a boat, and vice versa. Also, get on these rocks right down through here when the north wind's blowing and it's too rough anywhere else. You can fish right down through here and catch some redfish. There's been some sheep's head. There's been Spanish mac, pompano. We've caught red snapper, lane snapper, just about everything else you can think of, soapfish, all kinds of stingrays, but everything else in the world out there. If it's not too rough, get on the north side of the North Jetty, because these fish right now are migrating down this beach. They're going to hit this jetty. They're going to follow it. When they come right down into that jetty, and it don't matter where you're at, there's going to be a school of them coming through. There's still some tarp in there. The water's turned up a little bit, but the fish are still there. The bigger bulls at the end of the North Jetty, about 35, 40 foot of water, cut mullet on the bottom, best way to go. All right, these little drains right out here by Paradise Key Restaurant been hold some redfish. Anywhere's down this ICW, these fish are traveling from north to south right now. If you find these little bays, little cuts back and forth through here, anywhere's that's where you want to feed. You'll find trout in this area right in here. But if you move on down, keep on looking. Those redfish are down here, be next to the shallow water, next to the deep water. It's pretty easy. And then these little points right here, you'll find rocks. You'll also find some black drum mixed in there. Though in a little bit deeper water, you'll find the trout. There'll be a lot of schoolies, but there'll be some keepers mixed in there. It's kind of hard to find a 17-incher, but there's a lot of trout in there. There'll be some sand trout mixed in there with it as well. Any of these points, holding some rocks right down through here, that's a fantastic place to catch them. And then also these rocks right down through here, they hold some pretty good bull reds right down through here in the fall and winter. Okay, good old Indian Point Pier. Hold some black drum, hold some sand trout. Get you a jig head, a little piece of shrimp, chunk it out there on the bottom, just hop it a little bit. Or get you a speck rig. You get all the sandies you can stand. You can keep the bigger ones, throw little ones back. You want to catch a bigger sandy? Cut up a little one. Put him a piece of them on the hook and just drag him around. They like that. But there will be some black drum mixed in there with it. Then if you get on down through these piers, if you're in a boat or wade fishing, all down the Portland shorelines have been holding some fish. These north winds, it's a good time to hit them because wind is not going to bother you right in here. Now, if you get on back here in Ingleside, along these channels, the wind is not too bad back here, but they're going to hold some fish right down through next to that deep water. Where they can escape is what happens. Also, this corner right here holds pretty good redfish. There's some flats through here. Just get some cut mullet, chunk it up on the bank. Watching them, Capt.Doug Stanford.